2 weeks ago, rivals became teammates as the drivers of a POC Sim Racing League worked together to take on a challenging 3-hour endurance event. But this week it's every man for himself again as we enter the closing stages of a championship here at Road America for round 17 of 24. Hello everyone and welcome to GSRC's live coverage of a Porsche Owners Club Sim Racing League. I'm Samuel Ryman and alongside me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak and he's using camera sets provided by Dougie Beard. You can race pretty much any car around Road America in iRacing's virtual world, and since it's so popular, many people do, from Indy cars to NASCAR cars and even to Grand Prix cars. Why is this track so popular? Well, why don't you take a look for yourself with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Road America. Nicknamed America's National Park of Speed, it's easy to see why just by looking at how the track is laid out. Long straights are a major feature, and drivers will build up incredible momentum before they find themselves interrupted by tight 90-degree corners. In fact, for a 4-mile circuit, it has shockingly few turns. It also has little in the way of variation in layouts. The main course is only broken up once with a single chicane added in the bend version. But don't take this to mean that it's a boring track. Elevation change happens many times over a lap, with a few places taking you into corners which are quite blind. But two of the turns on the back half of the course are perhaps the most distinctive. One is the carousel with its more than 180-degree radius. It just feels like it never stops. The other is the kink. Terrifyingly fast with very little runoff, it can end someone's race in a flash. As you'd expect, the heavy braking zones make for some ideal overtaking spots. Turn 5 sees plenty with its downhill entry. The hurried downs can offer drivers a chance at a sneak attack if you're brave, and then Canada Corner gives you one last shot before the lap is over. It's no wonder major organizations such as IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, and the SCCA all host major races here. All in all, many drivers rate this track as the best track in North America. Many who hop in the seat and try it can quickly understand why.
Well, that's a nice view there of a racetrack, and we got a few more details about it. DJ, how do you feel about this place?
Well, Samuel, I absolutely love this place, as does any driver or fan who has been able to make the journey up to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. So many overtaking opportunities around here, tricky corners no matter what kind of car you're in. But as for these Porsches themselves, it's going to present its own special opportunities. Now, specifically looking at the 911 RSRs, that GT1 category, the draft is going to be pretty effective. There's a lot of aerodynamic effect going into those cars. So especially going down the front straight and going down the bend into turn 5, those are going to be some great overtaking opportunities, as is going into Canada Corner. Now, as for the infamous kink, well, those GT1s, they'll be able to take that flat out. I think there may have to be a little bit of lifting there for the GT2s. The carousel, though, when these guys come on lap traffic, is going to be very complicated to get that right. If one of these GT1 machines catches a slower GT2 there, it could be a little bit tricky. Now, all over the place, though, no matter what car you're in, you've got to be careful from turn 6 to turn 8, going down through the hurry downs. It's a very, very technical section of the track, and if you don't get it just right, it is a one-way ticket to spinning those rear tires and ending up in the grass.
Well, as DJ mentioned there, there's two different kinds of classes, even though every car in this race is a Porsche, and that means there's two different championships. So let's have a look at the standings after 16 of 24 races so far. And here you can see our GT1 standings. Travis Brown holding on to a fairly comfortable lead of 24 points over Corey Latvala, but that's definitely not insurmountable, so Travis will have to make sure he continues to get good results. Nice little battle for third going on too. Michael Johnson and Behan Salehi separated by just 6 markers, and BJ Fulton also hanging out there. How are our GT2 points looking, DJ?
Well, as has been the case all season, despite a bad run last time out, Jerry Freckleton continues to dominate that GT2 standings with a 43-point lead on John Momeyer. Momeyer's a little bit on an island of his own, but we've got a fierce battle going for P3 there, with Aaron Edwards up only 3 points from Adam Fulton and Mark Rondeau looking in on him with just 1 point shy. So very, very close there.
And as we mentioned, all of these cars are Porsches, and Porsche is one of our sponsors here today, helping to put this on. Porsche, there is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. This race is also being brought to you by Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. Additionally, we have Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now for a great tasting tequila. Go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. And last but not least, Century Financial Consultants. Making the rest of your life the best of your life. You can check out their website at centuryretire.com. Well, that's all the formalities out of the way here, DJ. We've, well, actually, no, it's not. Let's take a look at our race details. Give our viewers an idea of what we're up against. It's round 17 of 24, as we mentioned. 2 different classes of Porsches, as we mentioned. A 30-minute race, so a very short sprint race, although things can get a little spread out here at Road America after a few laps. An open setup. Oh, and one car on our picture putting his tyres in the grass there. That's no matter what setup you dial in, that's not going to end up well. But we're in the final 9 minutes of qualifying as these drivers continue to wrap up their times. And here we have Michael West, fastest in his class. Michael Ost, I apologise, fastest in his class, working his way around another tour.
Indeed, Ost sporting that very, very bright livery as he makes his way out of the hurry downs under the Johnsonville Bridge and through the carousel. That's Jad Duncan right there. Duncan currently top of those GT2 standings. We've seen some really good qualifying efforts out of Jad recently, but he's had a couple of scuffles in the race that have put him back a little bit, so he'll be trying to improve on that if he can.
Yeah, and let's have a quick look at our track temperature here. You can see already there's quite a lot of cloud cover around here, and as a result, the track temperature rather cool. Now, I believe for this series, they have fixed weather conditions, so this won't actually change as the race goes on. Makes it a little bit more, I guess, predictable for the drivers at how the track is going to behave as the race goes on, and hopefully that means we'll get to see some good racing.
Indeed, as we watch Matt Hollander crossing the line there, he's just a couple hundredths off. Here's John Momeyer. This looks like a slow lap, an out lap for Momeyer. He's going to be hoping to try to gain in on Freckleton. That's really been the battle for most of the season. Mark Rondeau is not on an out lap, though. He's going to be pushing to the line here.
And he looks like he's on the faster lap as he climbs the hill in the number 171 machine and finally comes across the line a couple seconds off of his fastest, actually. But still plenty of time to get another lap. You see everyone's out there on track together. Obviously, if you're about a second or two back of the car in front, you might be able to get a nice tow going down the front straight. Unfortunately, there's also plenty of turns here where the aero wash isn't going to be doing you a whole lot of good in the high-speed corners. The carousel in particular comes to mind there.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen a lot of times out in some high downforce series, whether it's these GTE type machines or whether it's an open wheeler, playing a little bit of that leapfrog game as Latvala not able to improve at this point. Looking around the lap times here, this is Jim Slavic coming to the line. He's currently last in class. This is an out lap for Jim. Californian's going to hope to do a little bit better than what he's not. He is a stonking 2 seconds off of the best time, but he's going to park it on into the pits here before trying out on another run.
Yeah, he'll have to make sure he gets it together, but meanwhile, Michael Ost has actually had the spin, and he's number 73. That's down that Canada corner there, so it shows you all these drivers on the limit. The good news for Jim Slavic is there's only 6 GT1 cars here, so it's not like he'll be starting far back in the field. And the straights around here are so long, you can be a little off a pace in the GT1 cars. Ooh!
Oh, that's Mark Rondeau going around the kink. Remember I said in those GT2s, it's going to be tricky. You've got to be able to feather that throttle a little bit. That's a real shame for Mark. He was on a very quick lap. I was seeing some good sector times out of him. Here comes John Momeyer. He is currently tracking right about at his best time. Let's see how he handles that final corner. Got to always be patient there. Let the momentum carry you out and around. And then there's that fearsome climb up the hill and under the NTT data bridge.
And across the line, you can see the flagman waving the flag saying, "Come here." And John's saying, I'm coming as quick as I can, but not fast enough. And he wasn't able to improve and going to go around again. So yeah, 6 GT1 cars, 8 GT2 cars. So they are smaller fields. And so if you do have a poor qualifying, it's not the end of the world, especially because there are plenty of passing opportunities around here.
Yeah, there certainly are, and there's also plenty of opportunities to get bottled up and get into a little bit of a kerfluffle. So that's the other thing that drivers are going to want to continue in mind as we watch Alan Stad here working his way around. Looks like he's tracking pretty quick here on his previous best time, so he's hoping to beat that 217.269. He's going to come to the line with a 217.1, so about a tenth of a second improvement there. That'll bump him up to 5th.
And you saw a little bit of a jab of a brake pedal. You saw his brake lights flicker on after he came out of a final turn. So I think that definitely hurt his run up a hill. That's unfortunate for Alan, because had he been just a few hundredths faster, he would have actually displaced Michael Roban and gotten up onto the second row of a GT2 grid. Here's Michael Johnson. He's currently on the second row of a GT1 grid, a 159.8 time to beat. He beats it, but oh, and actually that jumps him up to 3rd. So very close row number 2 there in the GT1 field.
Yeah, and he was purple there coming through the 3rd sector. I think he lost some time coming through Bill Mitchell Bend and the final corner there. So definitely some speed in that purple number 9. Here's Matt Hollander back in the GT2s, though. He's tracking a little bit up as well. Let's see if he's able to get anything out of that 69 machine. Crosses the line. 0.2 improvement there for Hollander. That'll bump him up to 4th.
Just 2.5 minutes left of qualifying to go now. So if you're not out there on track now, you might want to get out there in a hurry if you want the chance. Obviously, the GT2 traffic isn't exactly what the GT1 cars want to be seeing on their hot lap. Although Corey Lutfellow is still able to improve his time. He's, well, he's not exactly on his final lap here. He might be able to get 2 in. Not if he's pulling off, though. Yeah, he's done.
And bad news, though, looking around the track, Michael Ost looks like he's pretty quick, but we're going to follow Travis Brown here, who also looks equally quick, coming out of Canada corner, kicking up a little bit of dust there, trying to carry as much speed as he can as he lines up for Bill Mitchell Bend. Big bump of the curbs there. That's going to be a talking point during the race. You don't want to go too hard onto that. Great camera angle there from Dougie Beard, showing you just how much speed and momentum you can take. I think this is going to be a quick one for Travis.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely want to be higher up from 4th on the grid, and there we go. That'll help him out. That jumps him up to 3rd on the grid. 0.06 of a second off of being on the front row.
Yeah, so very good time for them. Here is riding on board with that nose cam of Michael Ost. You can really get a sense of the elevation change that comes into this last sector and just how blind it is to line up for that final corner. Michael not using all of the track there. That is a pretty viable option to try to carry some speed through. He's tracking like he's pretty quick here. Let's see if he's got anything in that 73. No, he's not going to have it. I think he lifted.
Here's a little ways off a pace there. Now you can see the clock is down inside the final minute now, and a lot of drivers won't really have enough time to get another lap in, but we're going to keep watching him across the line here, see if there's any late surprises. Matt Hollander in the number 69, racing in that GT2 class, a 2:17.0. His time to beat, and unable to do it, and he's going to call it quits there.
Here is your championship leader having a little bit of an off there. Jerry Freckleton is going to hit onto the binders. I think that is going to be qualifying over for Jerry. Here comes Michael Bolton. This is an out lap for him. It's going to be a race to the line, and he's not going to get there in time.
All right, I think we still have 4 or so cars out there who should be able to get to the line in time. Here's the first of them. Travis Brown working his way through that final right-hander right now. It's a very tricky exit to master, and one you definitely want to master correctly, though, because of how long the run down the front straight is. Travis Brown going to stay third.
Yes, he is, as he's now going to be putting in Paul Newton, trying to come in and get a better time there. No, Paul's not going to get it. Waiting for the last couple of drivers to cross the line. Michael Johnson here is going to be coming across. Does he have anything? Michael W. Johnson looking for some good laps, and he's not going to get it.
Yeah, and here is our final car to turn a lap. Obviously, he doesn't need to turn a lap, but he's going to go into anyways. He could have practiced pit entry there. Not that we have pit stops during this race, but you always want to know how they get into the pits. But no, he just wanted to do another lap around, and now he's going to pull it off. And we should see that clock run down to 0, well, in just a few moments. But your grids are set. Our 6-car GT1 field and our 8-car GT2 field will give you a full rundown in a moment. The GT1 cars covered by 3 seconds, and the GT2 cars, well, the entire GT2 field almost covered within a second. And honestly, it would be the same for the GT1 if it wasn't for that rather slow time from Jim Slavic. Hopefully that's not representative of his pace during the race, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. And this series isn't exactly not known for having a little bit of coming togethers on the opening lap. So we will have to see if some of the drivers in the back are able to take advantage of some misfortune up in front of them.
Yeah, and they are gridding up already, actually, and this is a pleasant surprise. I didn't realise they'd done this at Road America yet. They're not doing a full pace lap anymore. All right, Michael Oast will be starting from pole ahead of Corey Ladfella. Travis Brown will be starting from third ahead of Michael Johnson. Paul Newton and Jim Slavic. That rounds out your GT1 field. DJ.
In GT2, it's Jad Duncan again on pole with championship leader Jerry Freckleton lining up to the outside of him. Mark Rondeau and Matt Hollander will line up behind them, with Michael Robon and Alan Stad lining up 5th and 6th. John Momeyer will be 7th, and rounding out the back of your GT2 field, it's Michael Bolton.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So this apparently is part of one of the recent builds on iRacing, where they let the runner, the organizer of a hosted session, select whether to do a full pace lap or not. It's just a shortened pace lap here. I've got to admit, I don't actually think I've seen this done at Road America before. I'm glad it's being done, because it saves us from having to kill stuff to talk about in 4 minutes, and it means the race is about to get underway with just a 1-corner pace lap, basically. Obviously, it might be a bit of a headache for the drivers, though, because they really don't have a whole lot of time to warm up their tyres, and there's such big gaps between the turns here, DJ. It takes these cars a couple laps around here to get those tyres warm.
Yeah, it really does, especially with that particularly cool 74-degree track temperature like we talked about. But now drivers out on their way, following behind that Porsche pace car. Michael Oast leading the GT1 field, Jad Duncan leading the GT2 field. And going down into that first corner here at Road America, it's not a full heavy braking zone. It's faster than you think, so it could present a challenge.
Already the a gap distance in itself between the two fields as the GT1 cars work their way up to the crest of a hill. The green flag is in the hands of the flag starter, but here we go. We are racing, and Corey Latvala has actually gotten a really good start, actually beat Michael Oster to the line. I don't think he'll get penalized for that, but it does mean they're side by side into first turn, and Michael is going to come out on top. How are the GT2?
Oh, in the GT2, we have got spinners, all three leaders. That was Hollander, Duncan, Freckleton. It looks like Rondeau's around. Momeyer is caught up in it. The only one, I think, to escape from that without too much of a kerfluffle was Michael Bolton.
Yeah, so things have really mixed up at the top end. Well, the entire GT2 field. We still have a battle for the lead in the GT1s. Corey Latvala got a bit of a jump at the start, and now Michael is all over the place on his braking zone, and he is going to lose the lead and more. So now Corey takes the lead.
Yeah, so Corey's going to be in the lead, but he is going to have Travis Brown hot on his heels as they work their way through the hurry downs. Michael W. Johnson there as well, stalking behind that number 300 machine. That was a real costly error from Ose. I think that was a combination of cold tires and cold brakes, just misjudging that braking zone off the Moraine sweep going down into turn 5. But here's the first time they're going to have to deal with that arrow wash, Samuel, as they go through the carousel.
Yeah, fortunately, obviously, Corey doesn't have to deal with that because he's got a nice clean racetrack out in front of him. But the GT1 field obviously looking much more organized in comparison with the GT2 field. So how is the GT2 order now, DJ, that after that first corner incident?
Well, what it is shaken down to is that is the red machine of Michael Bolton out in the lead. Michael Robon chasing behind him. Matt Hollander, who had a mega start and was in the lead going into turn 1, he's been able to keep up behind. Alan Stad running P4, Momeyer behind him. Duncan and Rondeau behind them in 6th and 7th. And your championship leader, Jerry Freckleton, all the way down in 8th.
Yeah, so let's find out exactly what went on here, because we were watching the GT1 cars drag race into the first corner. Didn't really get to see how the GT2 start went until it was already too late. So there you see, they actually kind of... that's a very disorganized start. They're almost 4 wide by the time they got to the stripe there.
Indeed they were, and that's Hollander down on the outside making the good move. Freckleton looking very squirrely here. That was Momeyer coming up. Freckleton tries to get back into position, gets in to Jad Duncan, and then gets into Hollander as well. That causes those 3 to turn. There you can see Momeyer, Rondeau getting collected, as well as Alan Stad. And it was just an absolute Moses moment there for Michael Bolton. If we can get an on board with him, this is the parting of the seas.
Yeah, we mentioned there's 8 cars in this GT2 class, and I think there were 2 of them that got through there unscathed, including Michael Bolton and the other Michael behind him. I believe Michael Robin, who currently runs in 2nd position. But the racing is definitely not over. We got off to an ugly start, and things are a bit more disorganized in GT2, but you see here there's still half a second separating the 2 leaders.
Yeah, indeed it is, and that looks like Robon is definitely starting to close down a little bit as Alan Stad and Matt Hollander getting a little feisty behind. Jerry Freckleton's been able to get around Mark Rondeau there, but he's got some work to do to catch up to Jad Duncan ahead of him. Crucially, though, Momeyer in 5th, 2 positions ahead of Freckleton right now.
We'll keep an eye on these guys. I can tell you the GT1 cars are climbing up a hill to complete lap 2. It's about 2 minutes a lap for them here. So, yeah, you can do the easy math. A 30-minute race should be over in 15 laps time. Here we come. The GT2 leaders coming down into the braking zone of Canada Corner. This is definitely a passing opportunity, but not this time around.
Yeah, Samuel, I think everybody just trying to get a little bit calm. We're going to go to the battle here for P2 and GT1. Michael W. Johnson, sometimes commentator over here on GSRC, putting the screws to Travis Brown.
Yeah, Travis had really caught up with our race lead a few moments ago, but now he's actually dropped back a little bit. That might just be the ebb and flow of how the traffic works sometimes, that Corey pulls away and then Travis runs him down. And right now, the top three, you could still throw a blanket over them. They've got a little bit of a gap over 4th and 5th. Oh, there we go. Exit stage right. That was Michael Johnson.
Oh, Johnson off into the wall there. Hard smack for him. He's able to get it back going, but there's going to be some damage to the left side of that Porsche.
Turn 6 is very tight. This is going down into the braking zone of turn 5. Then you go up a hill. You kind of use that bridge as your braking marker. Is he going too deep? It's all good here. Oh, I got too much curb.
Yeah, just caught a little bit too much curb. That unsettled the car, and that sent him right off into the wall. So all that good work he's done, he now finds himself back in the back of that GT1 field.
Still limping it back around to the pits, but I think he's obviously going to have to bring that one in. We do have a few drivers out there carrying damage, but a lot of it is cosmetic. That looked like something a little bit more. And off goes Latvala, and Travis Brown takes the lead. And after not the best qualifying, granted he started in 3rd place, but I'm sure he still would have liked to have started higher. He's worked his way up to that top position. Now, what's going to happen for 2nd here?
Well, it's going to get very spicy. That's Paul Newton trying to take a little bit of a look, but nothing's going to happen. Michael Ost, remember that that error that he had going into turn 5 on the first lap? Well, he's now going to get the advantage of the double draft. They go down here through turn 3. That's a wide and missed apex there for Newton. That's all the opportunity that Michael Ost needs. He's going to move his way up into 3rd.
Yeah, so Michael Ost having a little bit of a comeback drive here. So the drivers who started in positions 1, 2, and 3 are now running in positions 3, 2, and 1. And I don't think it's over yet, because obviously we're still very early in the race and they're all still close together and making a few mistakes out here. I wonder if the track temperature has anything to do with that.
It very well might be. As you said, it is static conditions, so the track temperature not changing, and those cold tires really coming out to play for these drivers.
And while all that scrapping for 2nd place in GT1 has been going on, though, Travis Brown has been able to build up a bit of a lead, almost 2 seconds. They work their way down towards the kink one more time. Saw a lot of drivers going off here in qualifying as they were pushing their cars to their limits, but obviously in the race everyone I'm sure is running about 99% through there, because if you get your wheels on the exit of a kink, you're not getting the car back.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in these GT1s, the 911 RSRs, they are able to take it a little bit more. They've got more downforce wound up in those cars, so it's a little bit easier for them. But certainly for the GT2 machines, they've got to definitely be doing some lifting.
Got a nice battle here for 5th and 6th position in GT2, and that is going to switch around. Well, maybe not, because the 6th car, the red car, was the car leading at the start of a lap. Oh, contact! Running each other into the grass here. And that's Jerry Freckleton in the background watching on. So the 6th of John Momai had the position at the start of a lap, but Brad Duncan in the 83 is trying to take it from him. Still hasn't been able to pull it off. And I'm sure these two are having fun, but they're really costing each other a whole lot of time. And Jerry Freckleton is being brought right into this battle for 5th.
Yeah, he really is, and that is not good news for John Momeyer. Good, stout defense for him there, though. They fly their way through the kink. Jad may have another look at this here, going down into Canada corner. Let's keep our eyes here if Jad's going to go for the aggressive move through that sweeping left-hander before diving onto the binders. Jad takes the look. He starts to think about it, but Momeyer wise to it and able to get everything underneath it.
1st and 2nd in GT2 also quite close, but nothing like this right now. This is really where the action is, although that could change any moment. We'll keep you abreast on that as these drivers come out onto the front straight. They'll get each other's slipstream. I wonder if Jerry would try and do anything with those two cars in front of him if he caught them, or if he's happy just to see what kind of racing they got in store for us this lap.
Well, we'll see. And speaking of that racing, Duncan taking a look to the inside, going into turn one. Both cars onto the binders. I think Momeyer may have let him by a little bit there. Duncan planning the car at the apex, and here comes Freckleton. They go down through the knot corner that is turn two, down into turn three. Everybody on the binders. Freckleton not over aggressive. He's going to try to wait and see if he can maybe get the move into five.
Oh, Oster's had a problem. He was running in third place in class. This is down to Canada. We've already seen a couple of drivers get it wrong here. That looks like too much rear brake. Yeah, that was close.
That was very close. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Sam. Just a little bit too much rear brake, and a rear brake lock up there for Michael Ost. His problems continuing here today.
Well, it cost him one position, but fortunately that's all that cost him. Also, fortunately for him, he's got about 20 seconds over the fifth place car, so won't go back, or shouldn't go back any further than he is now, unless he runs into any major trouble. This is the battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th once again, although honestly, it's more of just a battle for 6th and 7th now.
Yes, it is a two-way fight. A little bit of a narrower line there from Freckleton, but he's able to gather it up on the exit of the carousel. Now he's going to be the one trying to apply some pressure here to Momeyer.
Yeah, I really think we need to go up to the GT2 leaders, though. Michael Bolton is sitting fairly comfortable in first right now. Not overly comfortable, but for now, I think he's all right. But second place, they are quite close right now. Michael Roban has Matt Hollander right behind him, and you can see Alan Stad in the background too. So we might be about to have a four-way fight for the lead in GT2. And after how the GT2 race has gone so far today, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing a lot of feisty driving out of these drivers. Roban has slowly been able to claim him in a little bit, pull him in a little bit more. And I think Matt Hollander in particular is going to have a little bit of red mist after getting taken out right at the start like that. Let's not forget Alan Stad there in that sort of orange-nosed machine behind them. Any of these leaders get into a problem, and this could very quickly devolve into a four-way fight.
Yeah, and just like that, it's gone from a battle from second and third to a battle for first and second. Michael Roban has done a nice job of executing the past couple of corners, and he's not on the defense anymore. He's on the offense, looking at the lead. He may be going for the lead because Michael Bolton really overdrove turn 5 there.
Yeah, he certainly did, but he's still able to keep Michael Roban behind him. Roban, in turn, continuing to pressure on, but I think all of that allowed for Hollander to catch up a little bit.
Not missing much in GT1 right now. This is definitely where the action is, although that's been changing a whole lot today. It seems every time we say there's not a battle, another battle picks up. Right now, there definitely is a battle between these four, and I'll be curious to see if Michael Roban is able to make a move on Bolton soon, because it certainly seems for the last couple of minutes that we've been watching that he's not only the faster car, but the more comfortable car.
Yeah, Roban just seems like he's in a little bit more control of that GT4 Porsche Cayman. Very hard onto the brakes through Canada corner. A little bit of a dust kick up there, it looked like, from Michael Bolton. And Roban getting closer a little bit. I thought he may have been able to have a run here, but he's not going to go for it. Taking a little bit of that inside line the best he can. A little bit almost of a brake check there from Michael Bolton, but he gets squirrely on corner exit. Is this the chance for Roban?
I certainly think it is, and you can see Bolton thinks that way too, because he tries to swerve across the track to break the slipstream. Obviously, that's a losing battle. Michael Roban was going to get the slipstream no matter what, but he has been forced to the outside, so his pass isn't guaranteed, but he's much later on the brakes. That's Roban around the outside and up into the lead of the GT2 class for the first time today, but can he hold it? Because Bolton's already sticking his nose out into turn 3, but doesn't repass him yet.
No, and I certainly think that he was getting held up a little bit there by Michael Bolton, so it'll be interesting to see if he'll be able to start to pull away, specifically as they get to the hurry downs. Behind them, Matt Hollander not looking like he was able to close in that gap as much as I thought he would, but Alan Stead certainly looking pretty aggressive. You can see there in the back of your screen, though, that was Travis Brown. These boys are about to encounter some faster cars.
Yeah, we actually just had an incident. Yeah, there we go. That is Corey Latvala getting into the back of Chad Duncan in turn 1. And I don't know if we can get another angle of this replay, but watch from how far back Latvala comes. I mean, I can't blame Duncan for turning into the corner here.
No, neither can I. That's a very, very late move from Latvala to try to dive down the inside. Yes, these 911 RSRs carry so much more speed, but that seemed a little over-eager from my perspective.
Oh, we're going to get more traffic here, obviously, because the GT1 leaders have caught the GT2 leaders. Granted, we're over halfway through the race, so it might be the only time that the GT1 leaders have to deal with the GT2 leaders. They might catch them again at the very end of the race. Let's hope they get through it cleanly without further incident.
Well, it looks like your leader in class there, Travis Brown, was able to do so. Now Latvala trying to come up the inside of Holland. This is going to get very, very dicey as there's a battle for the lead between Robon and Bolton, and that is going to be Latvala going around the outside of that final corner. Looks like it didn't slow anybody down too much, but there goes Robon out into the grass. That's Robon off. Bolton back into the lead. Now Hollander, almost an unsafe release. That's Stad running into the back of Michael Robon.
And now we got the battle for the lead in the GT2s as well, between Bolton and Hollander. Hollander knew exactly where to position his car, and now he's looking down the inside into turn 1. They're going to be side by side, and they got more GT1 traffic, so they're going to go 3 abreast temporarily as they go through quote-unquote turn 2. Now here we go into the braking zone. Hollander getting right on the tail of Bolton here, almost making contact, but here's the next best passing opportunity to run down to turn 5.
Yeah, that almost looked like a little bit of a almost attempted bump and run there from Hollander, but he backed out of it as quickly as he could. Now he's going to pull out to what will be the outside of turn 5. The road does curve there to the left, so that's going to favor Michael Bolton, but Hollander later on the binders trying to get it through, carries the momentum. I think he's got the line, and he does. That's Hollander back up into P1.
But the top 4 GT2 cars, despite all that drama, the order is shuffled around a little bit, but you can see they're still all nose to tail, so this race definitely not over yet. There's been a lot of beating and banning amongst these cars. You can see a lot of damage on some of them, and yet at the end of the day, they're still up there having a good race. So, yeah, I thought we're trying to get a replay here of a final corner. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that was Robon just coming back on, not trying to make anything happen but go, and Alan Stad, I think, just misjudging the closing speed there as there we see Michael Ost going by, and you can see the damage on that 619 as they work their way down the backstretch. Oh, this is going to be tricky for Ost. You don't want to catch anybody through Canada Corner. He's going to slot into line behind Hollander very smartly, but that's going to slow up Michael Bolton a little bit.
Oh, Hollander turned in. He just didn't see Ost there. Wasn't the best move he could have made, but he gets away with it. Unfortunately for Hollander, it's cost him a lot of time, and Bolton has run him right back down. The top 2 have broken away. Where's Robon gone?
Yeah, we got a connection issue or something like that for Michael Robon. Not entirely sure what happened to him, so that's going to separate out that battle a little bit, but closing speed out the wazoo there for Michael Bolton. Look at him charge down the straightaway. He's going to try to go around the outside of turn 1. Hollander to the inside, Bolton to the outside, almost banging doors.
Yeah, and here they go down into turn 3 with Bolton ahead. I'm wondering if all that damage on Hollander is actually affecting his top end speed.
You read my mind there on that one, but it doesn't look like it's hurting him too much here. He's going to try to pull out to the outside again. We saw him make this move work on the last lap. Car seems to stall out a little bit for Hollander, though, as he pulls out into the clean air, but they're going to be side by side into the braking zone. Look how later on the brakes Matt Hollander is, but he overshoots it.
Oh, he holds on just enough. I thought he might be going off into the runoff area too, but no, actually a good execution there from Hollander, and Bolton slides, and confirmation that Michael Roban has lost the internet connection, so that's why he disappeared from 4th place. Definitely not the end Roban would have wanted. We're hitting 10 minutes left to go in this race, and I think it might not only be the damage slowing Hollander down there on the straight. I'm almost wondering if he's carrying more downforce. That would make sense as to how he was able to go so much deeper into the turn 5 braking zone without running wide.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. It is open setups here in the Porsche Owners Club, but drivers are always very, very open with their setups and sharing it around. And in a track like Road America, you can very much have a fast setup through the straight lines or through the corners, as there's Michael O's day going from bad to worse, again having an off. I believe that's through Canada Corner.
We're getting a replay of that. The good news is he doesn't lose a position or anything from that. The bad news is there are penalties if you get too many incident points. Oh, that was a pretty nasty hit into the wall there. That might actually slow his car down a little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on his times. But yeah, you start getting penalties at 17 incident points, and this is either a penalty or him coming in to repair that nose. Either way, he's not going to hold on to 4th position now.
No, he is not. He's already dropped down to 5th as we speak, as we still focus in on that battle for the GT2 lead. Michael Bolton stalking down Hollander again, but Alan Stad now joining into the battle, but they've got Jim Slavic behind them in the GT1, so that's going to be another wrinkle in this mix.
Hopefully, Jim should be able to pass them all down the straight here. Don't know if he wants to blink his headlights at the drivers in front, because we've seen a few misread calls earlier on today. The other good news here is that Jim Slavic's not exactly battling everyone. Oh, as very deep into the corner goes Michael Bolton. And actually, he's not going to get a great exit there. Let's see if Alan Stad can take advantage.
Yeah, that's going to really hurt Bolton. That definitely slowed him down a bit. And again, we see a little bit of a wiggle there from him coming up under the Corvette bridge into turn 6. Now, that's not entirely surprising. That's a very tricky corner. You really almost have to let the car coast. Oh, that Slavic off in front just locked it up coming through turn 8.
Yeah, it's not exactly overly confident with that GT1 car, it seems, but gets back on. He had 12 seconds over Michael Johnson, so he should be able to hold on to that spot. Although, let's not forget, Johnson had trouble earlier, so it will be interesting to see if Johnson is able to run down Slavic in the last few laps here for that 5th spot. Oh, that's a big moment.
Yeah, that was Michael Bolton getting a little bit squirrely, and now Alan Stad says, this is what I can do, but they're going to have Slavic again coming up behind them. Side by side, going down into Canada Corner. Who's going to be later on the brakes? They're still side by side. Is Bolton going to be able to hold it around the outside? They're still not giving way, as that is Alan Stad finally letting him go. Slavic there, and now Michael W. Johnson joining the fight, so we've got 2 fights in 2 classes here.
Yeah, and actually, Michael Johnson has already made quick work of Jim Slavic for that position. Boy, things could have been disastrous right there on the run down towards Canada Corner. That would have not been good if those two were tangled. Fortunately, they didn't, but the battle is still on. Michael Bolton in the Ferrari livery, the number 127, leading Alan Stad in 619. Almost think that looks like the 2000 Arrows if we're going to go with Formula 1 references. And while those two battle for second, Hollander's pulled out by 1.5 seconds.
Yes, he has, and he's about to be passed there by Slavic in front of him. That'll be a good place for him to get it. But, yeah, Hollander able to keep things going here. Stad trying to push ahead the best he can. These guys are really in a class of their own. Jerry Freckleton is about 9-10 seconds back from this, so they don't really have to worry about any threats from behind, although they do want to try to keep as close to Matt Hollander as they can.
Yeah, and Hollander hasn't exactly had an incident-free race himself, so you never know if that number 69 will make another error in the closing stages here. Oh, here we go. Run down towards turn 8. Could be, oh, a very late dive. And here we go. We're going to go side by side through the carousel, maybe.
Oh, he certainly thought about it, but I think he's trying to line up the run, maybe down into Canada Corner. A little bit of the aero wash, but remember, there's not as much air displacement coming off the back of these GT4s, so Stad able to keep nice and close behind. Pokes his way out to the inside through the kink. You don't want to try to go through too wide through there. That is a recipe for disaster. Little bit of a slide there for Michael Bolton. Going back to your theory that Bolton may be running a little bit more trimmed out here. Stad losing a little bit of ground going down the backstretch. I don't think he's going to be close enough to try to make the opportunity, and indeed, no, they're single file through Canada.
4th and 5th running nose to tail behind these two as well. Jerry Freckleton ahead of John Momeyer, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. There's your positions 1, 2, and 3 in GT2 class, which has been action-packed all race long, despite the fact that over half a field got in an incident in the first corner. I thought we might have lost all interest in the GT2 race, but really, that's been the one putting on the show, whereas Travis Brown is holding on to a pretty handy 2.5 second lead over Corey Latvala here in GT1s. Actually, I say that, Latvala has run down by half a second.
Yeah, he has indeed, as there you see Travis Brown working his way around Mark Rondeau. So they were able to catch him and put Mark 2 laps down as they continue on here. Latvala currently running about 1.7, 1.8 seconds behind your leader of Travis Brown. So he'll be happy with that, will Travis Brown. Ticking down here under about 3.5 minutes to go. So by my estimations, we should be seeing this is 2 to go at the line.
Yep, 2 laps to go for certain. Well, I think things have calmed down for about 90 seconds or so. So if we can, let's bring in, I believe we've got Michael Roban here for a quick interview. We'll obviously keep watching the battles. Michael, we don't have a lot of time because there's a lot of action going on in the closing moments here. But
sure
boy,
there is.
Yeah, it looked a lot of fun out there. Sorry, as I say that, we got a spinner.
Yeah, I had a blast until my computer froze up. So I don't know if you guys were wondering what happened in there, but it was a lot of fun, and I had a shot to win the race, and then my computer froze up on me. So just, sod's luck, as they say.
Yeah, and we worked out something technically had gone wrong there. Can you talk us through that moment in the final corner where you kind of came in at a shallow angle that led to you running off and a bit of contact going up the front straight?
Yeah, on that lap there was contact?
After you ran off, you came back on the track, got a little knock from behind.
Right. So when I was leading the race, the GT1 traffic was coming through. I had to move over to the right to let them get through. And when I came back to the left, I caught a little grass and did a little gardening. And then I lost a couple of positions on the way through. But I think it was just a concentration mistake, dealing with the traffic.
All right, well, we're heading into the last moments now. It's unfortunate to see you out of a race. Look like you're having a lot of fun out there. Better luck in Long Beach in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Cheers.
Oh, rather short interview there, but we've had a lot of action going on. You saw Jerry Freckleton have that spin, and unfortunately, DJ, he's bringing it into the pits to get some repairs.
Yeah, that's going to be really harmful in that GT2 championship, but we've got to keep our eyes focused right here on the battle for P1 in GT1. Drivers coming to the white flag. This is it, and Corey Latvala has closed by sheer force of will. He's going to try to go for the win over Travis Brown.
Yeah, so we got a battle for the win in this class. We'll also probably have a battle for the win in GT2s, but we'll catch up on that momentarily because Latvala is all over the back of Brown as they enter turn 3 there. This is obviously one of his best passing opportunities down here. It's down the back straight. Latvala has run Brown down from about 2 seconds back in the last lap or so you definitely feel he has the momentum, but he also has some work to do. I think he's got the braking zone on here a couple of times today. Let's see if he gets it right this time.
He's going to be down and have the momentum around the outside. Can he be able to hold it? They're still side by side, charging up the hill. You can see Travis Brown trying to hold it. That's such a tricky corner to go too wide through. Latvala gets squirrely, but he's not out of it yet. Still all over the back of that number 300. They're duking it out through the hurry downs. Latvala waiting a little bit. Is he going to have a move down into turn 8? No, he's going to call it safe. He's now got to judge this run out of there. That's a squiggle from Travis Brown.
And now here they go through the carousel, entering the closing moments of this race. There's only a couple of passing opportunities left as Brown and Latvala run nose to tail. Brown in the white car, Latvala in the red car, now through the kink, and they're coming up to one of the best passing opportunities Latvala has left, Canada corner.
And Latvala's going to try to take that draft. It's really now or never time for him. He's going this way. He's going that way, trying to figure out which way to do. That's a defensive line there from Travis Brown. But Latvala sees an opportunity, tries to go around the outside, kicks up the gravel. I don't think that's going to be enough. He's got one last chance to make a drag down the front straightaway.
Yeah, he's really going to have to do something special in the final turn, though, and he's not going to be able to do it as long as Travis Brown doesn't get held up too much by that lap car. He is going to win here at Road America, and as they finish their race, the GT2 battle for the win has just started their final lap. Michael Bolton made a move in Canada corner for the lead and has pulled out about a second over this battle for second now. So I think Michael Bolton, if he wins this race, it's going to be from that pass he made in Canada corner a couple of moments ago. We'll try and get a replay to for you on that later. But right now we've got this battle for second that could be kicking off down here in turn 5.
Indeed it is. That is Alan Stad and Matt Hollander as they're trying to hold it out the best they can. Hollander looking for that move around the outside of turn 5. Goes down. Later on the brakes, trying to carry momentum, but he gets checked up. I think a little bit of contact there between the two. That's going to cost Hollander a couple of seconds and give Stad a little bit of breathing room.
It might not be over for the win because Bolton really missed the apex over in turn 6, and that costs him a little bit of time. Allows Stad to close in on him a little bit. Bolton holding on to a pretty handy lead though. If he can just hit his marks here the last couple of turns, he should be all right. And I think the battle will be for second place. So now these guys are coming up to the carousel. Just a couple of corners left for them. And Bolton continues to pull away a little bit. He's just got to make sure he gets through Canada corner and the final turn nicely. I think second and third is where it's at.
I think it is too as we continue to watch this. That's Hollander trying to size up Stad the best that he can, moving this way and that, figuring out the braking line. Stad positioning that car over to the left side of the road. Oh, that's Hollander! Hollander getting off into the grass. He's able to catch it and keep going, but that's going to effectively end the battle.
Well, if you like red racing cars, this has been a great day for you here because we've seen a battle between red and white on the final lap in the GT1 class and the GT2 class, and it looks like, oh, sorry, no, it was a white car who came out on top in GT1, wasn't it? It's going to be red here. The Ferrari livery, the number 127, the Michael Bolton comes to the crest of a hill. He is going to win ahead of Alan Stad in second and Michael Hollander in third. I'm wondering from our directive, we have time to get a replay from, yeah, we're going to try and pull up a replay from Canada corner as they came to the white flag. We couldn't watch this live at the time because Brown and Latvala were finishing up their race. This, yeah, we need to go back about another minute before this, I would say. So, as you see here, as the GT1 drivers were finishing up their race, this is what was going on in Canada corner, and just a nice move around the outside from Michael Bolton, and then as he came up, and we'll get what as he came up to the final turn, he was able to build up enough of a gap over his competitors. Here's a move, DJ, that he pulled on Hollander to get the win.
Yeah, it just looked like Hollander losing a lot of speed coming out of the carousel and through the kink, maybe a little bit too much of a lift. And there you can see Bolton just pushing that advantage. Our suspicion that he may have had a little bit less downforce just around the outside gave Hollander plenty of room, but was able to carry the momentum expertly.
I gotta be honest, there were times in that race that there weren't the greatest moves by a few of drivers out there, but the final lap for the GT1 win and for the GT2 win and battle for second, there was some incredible driving for there. It was very worth sticking around for. Well, stick around with us for some more action, because we are going to be having driver interviews when we come back, and we'll give you a full race rundown. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back to Road America, where we just witnessed 30 minutes. Oh boy, that was only 30 minutes. We had a lot happen in that 30 minutes of racing action here at Road America, round number 17 of the championship. And here is your finishing order. GT1 class ran by the not white painted car. Sorry, not red painted car. Travis Brown. There is no loading or unloading in the white zone. Corey Latvala finishes just half a second behind him in second place. Paul Newton back there, 15 seconds in third position. After that, you got Michael Johnson in fourth place and Jim Slavic a little off the pace in fifth place. Still comes home not too far behind Michael Johnson, actually. Nice little bit of racing between them late on. Michael Ost ran into big problems earlier on, finishes one lap down in sixth.
In that GT2 field, it was a fierce battle all the way to the end, but Michael Bolton was able to take the win, followed by Alan Stad, and a late mistake from Matt Hollander may have cost him that second place on the podium. John Momeyer was able to come home in fourth, with Jad Duncan in fifth. Jerry Freckleton came home sixth, and Mark Rondo seventh, and you heard us talk to Michael Robon, who suffered some internet issues and came home in eighth.
Well, we've got a few driver interviews actually lined up here, so let's start with our race win in the GT1 class. Travis, there were a lot of comers and goers there in that race. There was a lot of lead changes, a lot going on for a 30-minute sprint.
Yeah, no, it was a super fun race, especially that last lap with Corey there. Had my heart pounding for sure.
Yeah, well, take us down in the cockpit on the final lap. When did you know you had the win, and where did you think the last move was going to be made?
Well, I knew he was going to send it into Canada corner, so tried to go as deep on the brakes as I could, but still leave him room. And yeah, it was just neck and neck the whole way through. He was pushing hard the last couple laps to come back and catch me. But my tires were pretty shot, having run a low downforce setup, and so fortunately I had the straight line speed to help hold him off when he was in the draft. But yeah, great race by Corey and Michael.
We saw a few drivers were having difficulties braking for turn 5. Was there a reason for that today? Was there something about the track conditions that was leading to that braking zone being a bit harder than normal?
Yeah, I know the it almost caught me out on the first couple laps too. I had to adjust my brake bias. I don't know if the track temperature was different or what, but it was a little different than it was during practice and qualifying. So I don't know. It maybe it's just mental, or we had the full fuel load and we were all used to our quali fuel. But yeah, it was close. It was dicey, but got my brake bias dialed in, and then I was all right.
All right, well, we go to Long Beach next race in 2 weeks. How are you feeling about that?
Feeling good. I like Long Beach. I just took my kids there today, actually walking around the track, getting ready for the Grand Prix. I like to see it before they set up the course, and yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
I got to thank Michael Ost for pushing me hard practicing this week. We like to, send each other our best lap times and kind of, do a little friendly jab, getting ready for the race. But yeah, we always make each other better. So it's good stuff.
All right, well, great to hear. Congrats once again, and we'll let you go celebrate your win.
Thank you.
And DJ, you have called up with the win in GT2, Michael Bolton.
I have indeed, Michael. That one didn't come easy, but after that fierce kind of battling we saw across the whole race, you got to feel good, my friend.
Oh man, that was crazy. What's up, DJ? What's up, Joe? Yeah, honestly, that was quite the first lap. Obviously from P8 all the way to P1, and trying to hold on to P1 was very challenging. Robin was putting on a lot of pressure, and I think eventually he made a mistake. Matt got in front of me, and I was really hoping to just stay on the podium, but so thrilled to get P1.
What was going through your mind on that opening lap? I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say that you got a little bit lucky there with the red car parting the red seas in front of you. But what was going on as you saw that gap between Duncan and Hollander and Freckleton just open up?
That's the perfect way to explain it. The seas parted, and I was just there at the right time. And I was thinking about kind of gassing it around that a couple of the cars, and just decided to be patient and figure out which way they were going to go. And once I kind of knew, then took off. But yeah, luck was on my side there.
Well, and then going into those final laps, obviously you got the move done for the win through Canada Corner. Talk me through that. How hard were you pushing at that moment? Was that an opportunity, or were you setting that one up?
So all of my practice I actually did with the GT3s. I didn't realize if I was going to do the GT4, GT3. So ended up, hopping in the Cayman tonight, and didn't have as much practice as I did in the GTE car. But yeah, just going through that corner, I felt a little slower than I normally do. And the tires, I didn't ever do a full race run on these tires, and halfway through and on, they were just getting worse and worse. So my confidence became less and less, and was really just hoping that he stayed on the inside and I was going to keep on the outside and just try my best. But love racing with Matt Hollander. Big shout out to him. He always keeps it clean, and he also helped me out with my setup tonight. So huge shout out to him.
Well, there you go, Michael. Anybody you'd like to thank for this victory tonight?
Of course, my mom and dad, my fiance Gabby, my new puppy Hamilton, named him after Lewis Hamilton, and my other dog Monkey. And shout out to the POC, of course.
Always good to hear some of our furry friends getting a shout out. I love it. As we are now going to move on, as Samuel, I believe you've caught up with Corey Lockvilla.
Yeah, Corey finishing just a little bit short there at the end. Boy, how are you feeling? I'm sure you wanted that one.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. The steam was coming on hard at the end. Realized I started catching Travis. I was wondering if he ran out of fuel or something, but I don't know what it was. Just started putting in the laps.
Now, if I recall, you made a couple of mistakes throughout the race. Didn't you get the turn 5 braking zone run a couple of times? Can you talk us through how tricky the track was?
Yeah, it was pretty tricky. During practice, it felt like every lap I was going off, and I was happy to just make it as far as I did. But what was it? It was the last corner. Just got the car a little sideways and tried to get on the brakes too hard, locked them up, and went off a little wide.
Unfortunately, we got a lot of drivers lined up for interview, Corey, so I want to cut this short, but I'll leave you with this for the last question. Now, next race is at Long Beach, so how are you feeling about that? And is anyone you'd like to thank or any shout-outs you'd like to give before we let you go?
Yeah, Long Beach is pretty fun. Zero mistakes, walls everywhere, so I can't be doing that. But just want to thank Schmidt Racing, everyone that watches, friends and family, you guys for putting this on the POC, and yeah, thank you.
And we definitely thank you for coming out here today, Corey, because you definitely put on a great show for us all race long. Well, congrats once again. We look forward to seeing you at Long Beach.
Thank you.
All right, DJ, you've caught up with our second place GT2 finisher, Alan Stad.
Well, Alan, that was a very fierce battle. I was talking to Michael Bolton about it, and I got to say, for you, after that first lap incident, it looked like it was a lot of just charging down the field and getting up there by sheer persistence.
Yeah, that was a lot of mayhem at the start there. I thought I was going to get through it, but it just kept going and going and going. And yeah, I got collected in it, but somehow did get through and kept up with the pack and was able to make a nice pass at the end there. So, yeah.
Well, you got a good one done, but we got to turn our sights now to Long Beach. Obviously, there you run off a little bit wide. It's a little bit closer. How do you think that's going to go?
I suck at Long Beach. I can't even get through a lap without crashing into a wall. You know, with Long Beach, there's a saying, there's two walls you got to worry about, the left one and the right one. Yeah, that's a very tough track, and it's hard to get through or pass, and so it'll be interesting.
Well, we'll be watching all of that interesting for sure, my friend. Anybody you'd like to thank for this podium here tonight?
I want to thank POC, Matt, all the guys for doing a great job and keeping this up.
Well, that was your second place finisher in GT2, Alan Stad. And now, Samuel, I believe you've caught up with the third place finisher in the top class, Paul Newton.
Yeah, not only did Paul Newton get a third place finish here, but Paul, you're the only driver in the whole field who didn't get a single incident point or race. So congratulations on that.
Right. I didn't even know that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're keeping it clean out there, and we've already heard from a few drivers. It was quite tricky out there. How was it from your perspective?
It wasn't too difficult from my perspective. I think I went very conservative on the setup today. I know those guys are running really low downforce because they're just pulling me on the straightaways. But yeah, I just turned up that rear wing and let it stick to the ground. And I didn't have a lot of practice on this track this week, so my strategy was just play it safe, and that's what I did, and it worked. Got on the podium.
Yes, a high downforce setup working out well for you. I'm sure it would work in 2 weeks' time when we go to Long Beach as well. What are your hopes for that circuit?
Keep it between the walls. That's really all there is to it. It's pretty much all I ever try to do. I know those guys are pretty fast and they can get in there and take more practice than I can. But yeah, Long Beach is a great track. I can't wait for it, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, Paul, we've got another interview lined up afterwards, so we're kind of rushing through these right now. But anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the POC for putting on these races, the GSRC for covering them, and I want to thank Peel's California Mandarins.
Oh, we appreciate that, and yeah, that's a very good-looking car you got out there, by the way. I like oranges, so I'm always partial. All right, well, congrats once again on the podium, Paul, and we'll see you at Long Beach.
All right, thank you.
One more interview. DJ, you have caught up with Matt Hollander, our third place GT2 finisher.
Well, Matt, I think that was the definition of a yo-yo race there for you. Obviously, an amazing start. It looked like you were going to be in the lead and then tapped off there through the first corner. Talk about your mentality coming back after that.
Unable to hear you, Matt Hollander. Give him a couple more moments here. All right, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to hear from Matt there, which is unfortunate because he was definitely putting on a great show out there today, a very interesting race. DJ, I thought things were going to get quite calm after we wiped out a bunch of cars, it looked like, in the first corner, but boy, the action kept up all race long. We had an interview on standby, and we barely had time to bring him in throughout the race because there was just action the entire time.
Yeah, there really was, especially in that GT2 field. And then obviously the great battle with Brown and Latvala. You know, we're closing down here on the ending stages of these championships. And I think you're starting to see the drivers recognize that and really making pushes.
Yeah, they were definitely driving on the edge today, and we'll see if they continue to do that in 2 weeks' time at Long Beach. Well, before we let everyone go today, we got a few people we'd like to thank, including, of course, all the organisers and the competitors in the POC Sim Racing League for coming out tonight and putting on a rather wild show. Additional thanks goes out to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts, and there you can see those listed on your screen, right there. Also, there they are. Also, thanks to June Lalonde, who provides us with our music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, DJ, Joe, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check us out on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, or Instagram at GSRC_gram. All of our upcoming races for our other series are listed on your screen, so be sure to check those out, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.